What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about a found footage horror movie that was uploaded directly to YouTube. And I saw some people discussing this movie online, and I hadn't heard anything about it. Apparently, it was created by this group that normally does comedy videos on YouTube and TikTok. And lately, they've been doing some short films in the horror genre, and people have just been raving about this thing. And so, since it was widely available for free to watch on YouTube, I had to check it out right away. And as I've talked about before, I love the found footage genre. And what I love about found footage is it gives the opportunity for people that don't have a large budget to make a movie to create something effective that can get the audience invested and that has the capability to be rough around the edges without sacrificing the quality of the film, which is what I like about it. The camera work doesn't have to be perfect. All of the little technical details that you see in a big budget Hollywood movie don't have to exist in found footage. And so I really respect the genre for that reason. And so to hear these people on YouTube wanted to make this project and that it was being raved about made me really want to check it out. And the movie I'm going to be talking about with you today is Milk and Cereal. Milk and Cereal is directed by Curry Barker. A surprise birthday prank takes a turn for the worse when a popular social media duo must face the reality of the terrifying aftermath. So, as I said, I was very excited to watch this movie with a lot of the buzz surrounding it, people talking about it online nonstop, and this was awesome. I really enjoyed it a lot. I'm really surprised that I think it's an hour and 2 minute runtime with the credits at the end, and it utilizes every minute really effectively. It does a great job building tension and suspense. It subverts your expectations. It has a ton of twists and turns along the way and some really solid performances, which I'm always impressed with, especially when something is incredibly low budget, when you're able to pull really great performances from people that aren't necessarily big name actors. And I'm excited to tell you a little bit about it today. So at the beginning of the film, we are introduced to Milk, played by the director Curry Barker, and Seven, played by Cooper Tomlinson. And they are an online prank duo, and they've been running a YouTube channel for a while, and they're constantly trying to one up each other on the content that they make online. Well, Milk's birthday is coming up, and Seven decides, I want to pull this really elaborate prank to mess with him on his birthday. So he ends up like getting a squib that he's going to hook up to one of the girls at the party. He finds this guy on the black market or something to buy this fake gun that he's going to make it look like she's been shot at his birthday party. And so he gets these people together, they get all the stuff, and they pull the prank on the birthday party, and it freaks Milk out. And once they tell him it's a prank, he's like, oh, you got me really good, this is unreal. And this random man shows up at their door and says some really awkward stuff to them, which sets off a series of sinister events involving all of the people in this friend group. And the entirety of the film is watching these events unfold and how the members of this YouTube prank group deal with the ramifications of their actions. So I don't want to talk too much more about plot details in this because you really just need to go watch it. But I'm going to talk about the things I really enjoyed about this. For starters, the performances here, especially from the director and the lead actor, Curry Barker. He does a phenomenal job in this movie. As far as the wide array of emotions that his character has to convey, it is very, very impressive. I did not expect to just be completely and totally enamored with his performance, but he is dedicated here. And it's interesting to hear that these guys have a comedy background because this movie gets very dark and very disturbing. And I think it's really interesting to see the number of people who have been involved in comedy over the years that have switched to horror. I mean, you think most predominantly is Jordan Peele having a huge background in comedy, but then coming out and making these really phenomenal horror films. The guys that directed Talk to Me. I mean, there are a ton of people in the comedy landscape that have been kind of switching to horror, and I think it's interesting the way they're still able to incorporate comedy elements in their horror film. And I think that's what really makes his performance great in this, is that like there is a darkly comedic edge to everything that character is doing. And it really makes it an easy watch. And I think everyone involved in this movie does a great job. They're all very believable. You kind of forget that you're watching a movie in certain points. It feels like someone literally just picked up a camera and is recording exactly what's happening in front of you, which makes it all the more unsettling when things take a turn for the worst. And what I really liked about this is the direction that it goes. I did not expect whatsoever. And it constantly subverts your expectations and does some things that I don't think anyone going into this movie would have really expected. And I like the third act, especially, is bonkers. And some of the things that happened were so dark and just made me feel very uncomfortable, which I'm always impressed with any sort of filmmaker that can pull that level of visceral reaction out of me. As I said, it's a found footage movie, so the camera work doesn't have to be perfect. There are a couple of moments, and I'd say like my biggest gripe with this is there are moments specifically where there's like a shot reverse shot in this one sequence where there's two cameras set up, and I wasn't necessarily sure how they had the two cameras set up there beforehand. And there's a couple of times where the camera is rolling that it doesn't necessarily make sense. Most of the time they justify it and there's like a reason for the camera to be placed there. But there's a scene that takes place on the beach in particular where there was a moment that kind of pulled me out a little bit. But aside from that, most of the time when the camera is rolling and it's placed in a specific spot, there's logic and reason behind it and it makes sense to you as the viewer, which is all that matters in a found footage film. Because a lot of times my biggest gripes and complaints with these movies are, why is the camera continuing to roll? Why would someone put a camera here and do these things? Like, you'd just run or get out of the situation. But here there always seems to be logic following why the camera is still on. And it's just a really fun experience. Like I said, it's not a very long run time. It's about an hour long. In the description of the video, I'll copy the link to the movie so that you can just click it right away and watch it. But please go support this type of a movie. I think it is so cool when content creators or people want to put something out there and they put time, effort, and energy, and then they're just like giving it to audiences for free. Obviously, there's ads throughout, so hopefully they're making ad revenue on it. But please support it and show it some love. I'm really excited to see creators like this show up that can create something with virtually no money so that hopefully someone can see it and give them more money to make something even bigger in the future. And that's the hope for creators like this. And I just had a blast with this movie. I would definitely watch it again. And like I said, just go check it out immediately if you haven't seen it yet. So have you seen Milk and Cereal? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this was awesome. I'm a huge fan of the found footage genre, and this one really took me by surprise. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.